Things are going really great around here. So much so that we've brought on new virtual agents, freeing people to do the work they really love, which is what I really love. Oh, and today is Bring Your Daughter to Work Day. Oh, tell us what you've learned from your day on the job.
I've learned work doesn't have to suck.
You mean work should work better for people?
Yeah, that. I had no idea you could help like 100 customers at a time, 24/7. So they always have someone to talk to on Slack, Microsoft Teams, wherever. I saw problems get resolved like that. And they know when to hand it over to a live agent.
Yep, it's good to know your limits. There are some nuances that only humans get. Oh, and you also learn it's important to have the right tools for the job, right?
And those tools need to work. So the virtual agent gets to answer all those little IT requests that used to just slow people down.
Yeah, and if your computer is on its last legs, they can even get you a new one.
So things can keep running smoothly.
Smooth as a baby.
Dad!
But, like we said, it's all about the people.
Which sometimes means helping people help themselves by teaching them something new.
Yeah, like they say, teach a man to fish, and he can update his own profile.
Yeah, good one, Dad. But I think the most important thing I learned today is that if I work hard and put my mind to it, I can grow up to be any kind of chatbot I want to be. Intelligent, unique, and totally custom. So I can help everyone work better.
Chip off the old block.
Hi, I'm Kevin Murray. Thanks for joining me for the London Release broadcast. In this 45-minute keynote, you're going to hear about all the great innovations in London. You're also going to see some great demos, and we're going to tell you how you can accelerate your upgrade. After this keynote, you'll have access to 7 spotlight sessions where you'll have great chat Q&A available as well. So let's go. Our first theme is intelligence for everyday work. And with me to help talk about that is our Chief Innovation Officer, Dave Wright. Dave, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for inviting me, Kevin.
So you got a story around the London release. You want to talk about that?
I spent 18 months previewing this release, and every slide I had Liverpool as the code name. And then for some reason, when it comes to production, we went with London. But London it is.
It's tough luck, man.
It is, tough luck.
So this intelligence for everyday work is really backed by our virtual agent.
Right.
And they've been around for a while. What's different about our approach?
So virtual agents for us, this is our conversational platform. This is all the stuff that you want to do that's very regular stuff you'll ask for. How do you open a ticket? How do you get status updates? How do you find approvals? And what we wanted to do is the same thing we did with artificial intelligence. We didn't just want to give people a blank slate and say, go ahead and create your conversations. So what we've done is we've provided pre-canned conversations out of the box for IT, for customer service, for human resources, but we've also given people the ability to build their own conversations around the needs they've got for their particular products.
So that's really the difference is we've pre-built these things so that people don't have to start from scratch,
There's
right?
like nothing worse than getting an empty product and just thinking, right, where am I going to start? So at least now you've got a framework where you can look at some of the pre-canned examples, perhaps tailor some of them, alter some of them, copy some of them, so that you get exactly the use case you want.
That sounds great. All right, let's check in with the platform team and see how this really works.
Hi, I'm Megan Amari, and I'm here with Chuck Tomasi. We're part of the Now Platform product team at ServiceNow, and today we're going to talk about intelligence for everyday work. So Chuck, tell me a little bit about how did we get started on this for the London release?
Yeah, thanks, Megan. We took a look at common challenges that customers with IT service management, HR, and customer service management have when it comes to high-volume, low-complexity issues. And what we heard was that customers are often required to provide a context for each interaction, that cross-functional communication can be difficult between departments, and that the cost of creating these unique applications can be prohibitive. So we came out with Virtual Agent. Virtual Agent is a chatbot that enables administrators to create conversational workflows native to the Now platform so users can obtain information, make decisions, and perform routine work tasks.
So that sounds very exciting. I'd really like to get a peek at this in action. The first challenge that you mentioned is that customers must provide context for each agent interaction. How does Virtual Agent solve that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you an example where Emily is having a network outage issue, and she needs to get help from Virtual Agent. Well, immediately, Virtual Agent knows who she is. It knows her assets. It knows her location. She doesn't have to repeat this. We've all been on those calls where you're talking to Tier 1 and you have to repeat it to Tier 2. That's no fun. Let's get that out of the way. Virtual Agent lets her walk through, report the issue. I'm having a network issue. And not only that, but because it's a single platform, it can go in and check, are there any known outages that might be related at this time? She says, no, it's not one of those. Let's go ahead and open up a ticket, to which it does. And in seconds, we've got an incident for IT to be working on, and we can take a look at that. There we go. Easy peasy.
That looks pretty exciting, and I'm sure that there are plenty of complex situations our customers want to address with this. The second challenge that you mentioned is that it's really difficult to get work done across departments. What does Virtual Agent do to help with that?
Yeah, I like this one. Let's take another case where Julie needs to replace a router fuse. So she goes into Virtual Agent, says, I need help with a product, and says, what do you need help with? I need help replacing that router fuse. And Virtual Agent offers up some knowledge base articles from the knowledge base. And she says, well, you know, I've already read all of those. At this point, I'd really like to talk to an agent. Well, in the meantime, Virtual Agent has created a case for her, so that could be handed off to engineering or manufacturing. This could be a systemic issue. If we've got lots of router fuse issues, we want to know about it and be able to fix that. So she goes to an agent, and the agent picks up with the transcript of everything that's happened so far. So communication is far easier, and in a matter of seconds, she's gone from conversation to resolution.
And it's so seamless. That's pretty amazing. The third challenge that you mentioned is that each department needs some bespoke solutions, and that I'm sure that they want to get started as quickly as possible. What does Virtual Agent offer?
So Virtual Agent, out of the box, comes with 18 conversations that are pre-built for CSM, ITSM, and HR, so you can get up and running very quickly. However, you're going to find requirements that you've got unique cases, such as this one that I've been tinkering with, and we offer Virtual Agent Designer. Virtual Agent Designer is a graphical drag-and-drop environment where you can build your own conversations, and this one is for holiday schedules. Let's take a quick preview of that. And up it comes, and it says, do you need help? I say, you know what? I'm going to look for the Canadian holiday schedule, and just like that, I've got the Canada holiday schedule. It relieves your HR people from answering emails and chats about what's the schedule in Canada, allows them to do the high-value, high-complexity issues, and Virtual Agent does the high-volume, low-complexity stuff at scale 24/7.
Thanks for showing us all of that, Chuck. That's pretty amazing. We were able to see how Virtual Agent takes chat from conversation to resolution. It helps to solve problems in context. It can kick off workflows across the enterprise. And we have 18 pre-built conversations for ITSM, HR, and customer service. Thanks for watching.
So next up is better experiences. And I know we've talked a lot about investing in design-led thinking or design-led experiences.
Right.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so when you actually put a product out there and you're trying to get people to use it, what the actual user experience like, that's key to success for getting that product accepted. Now, we focused a lot not just on the design aspects of it, but also what the experience is like. So not just the look and feel, but also what's it like to engage and actually get that service. So we've done acquisitions around companies that we've bought to actually get design talent, and we've also rearranged the organization so that we've got a much larger design team than we ever had in the past. So this should be some dramatic changes that you start seeing appear in the product.
That sounds great. Let's see some of these things in action.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to show you now is how you can raise IT user satisfaction with a new walk-up experience. And then for the IT operations teams, you'll see how discovery is evolving so that you can discover and manage containers. And then finally, you'll see how you can get projects over the finish line faster than ever with scaled agile framework. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm David Flesh, and joining me is Darius Kumari. and we're going to spend the next couple of minutes talking about the new walk-up experience in London. Statistics show that the best engagement often for users with IT is face-to-face and direct, so they can get their problem solved and get back to work. But we also know that when that's handled informally, it can create challenges where it's confusing for the users on how to engage, it can be chaotic for the technicians, and it can be very hard for managers to understand staffing levels and related requirements. So Darius, with London, we're introducing the walk-up experience. Why don't you take us through a demo?
Absolutely. And with this walk-up experience, we've done our best to take every persona in that experience. The end user getting serviced, the technician providing the service, and ultimately the admin setting it up and simplifying it across the board. Let's take a look. Let's begin at our online check-in interface. This allows users to place themselves in queue for a walk-up experience anywhere they are, whether mobile or desktop. There, they'll get all the information they need about the location and hours of operation and can very quickly check themselves in. In this case, I need help upgrading my operating system, and as I put that information in, I'll actually get relevant knowledge articles to help me self-resolve that issue. As I progress with the check-in and ultimately put myself in line, I immediately understand what my queue position is and what the length is of others in the queue. The arrival time helps me understand my expected wait. In many cases, though, you'll be checking in on-site. And for that, we have tablet-optimized interfaces to process the users. They can easily enter their name, select that reason for visit, and just like online, they'll see exactly what their position is on check-in. They'll also be notified when they're at a given position in queue. Once users have placed themselves in queue and they're on site, they can understand graphically exactly who's being serviced, who is in line, and who the technicians are that are servicing them. Makes it really easy to understand when you're going to get that resolution. Technicians will be able to help you creating incidents, requests, or consuming assets from inventory. And once all that is said and done, you'll be able to give a quick CSAT sentiment survey on your way out. One tap, and that feedback is recorded. Gathering all that information is just as easy. Managers and business process owners will be able to look at a nice dashboard to understand utilization and operational information. Looks great.
Yeah, thanks for the demo, Darius. So what you've seen here is the walk-up experience, new in London, and you can see how you can raise your customer satisfaction to new heights by providing a very easy, simple-to-use interface for your end users, providing all the tools your technicians need to get the job done, and for the managers, the information they need to understand staffing and inventory levels. Thanks very much for watching.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chanda. With me is Usman. We would like to show you how ITOM in the London release brings even more visibility and better health management for some of the modern-day services in your enterprise. We know that many of the new applications and microservices run in containers today. Containers are becoming more and more prevalent in our customers' environment. When it comes to container management, Kubernetes is the most widely adopted container management solution today. From an operations perspective, our customers face two main challenges for such an environment. The first challenge is that they would like to discover container clusters automatically. And the second challenge is that they would like to manage the health of services that use containers. To solve this, we have enhanced discovery to discover Kubernetes clusters in your environment automatically. I will now hand it off to Usman, who will show this to us in a demo.
Thanks, Chanda. Let me show you how we solve the first challenge of discovering Kubernetes clusters. You're looking at ServiceNow Discovery now. It has found two clusters. Looking into one of them, you see all the deployed components that might be running on physical, virtual, or cloud resources. Let me show you a full dependency view. Here, you can see pods, nodes, services, even servers supporting this environment.
Really good to see such detailed dependency view. What can our customers do to ensure CMDB is up to date with what's discovered?
Sure. So CMDB is updated when discovery jobs run. Using CMDB Query Builder, you can create a query to find the discovered CIs. Here we have a query to find Kubernetes clusters that uses Docker containers. Running this, we find the two clusters.
Aha, the CMDB is fully synchronized. Now that we have discovery, what are some of the options our customers have to address the second challenge, which is managing health?
Yeah, to solve the second challenge of health management, we already do it. Event management ingests events and triages them into alerts and incidents. You're looking at event management dashboard where we have a critical alert coming from a monitoring source. It's impacting a service that uses containers. Looking into this service takes us to a service map that leads us to a root cause server. From here on, we can pick the right remediation option and get the service back up.
Thank you, Usman. To recap, you saw how we have enhanced discovery to now discover Kubernetes clusters in your environment. With this, you can now view and manage some of the modern-day services that use containers. What is really exciting is this capability is available on ServiceNow Store, and you can download it and use it with the Jakarta release as well. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Anthony, and with me today is Lily, and we're here to talk to you about an exciting new solution in IT business management in our London release. So the problem we were really trying to solve is how organizations can scale Agile across all of their teams in their organization. And they face three common challenges. So the first one is around gaining oversight of Agile activities across the enterprise. The second is optimizing the prioritization of those features. And the third is scheduling the right work to the right teams. So I'm going to hand over to Lily, who's going to take us through a demo of how we solve these problems for our customers.
So one of the new features of London is called Scaled Agile Framework, otherwise known as SAFe. So let's address that first challenge you mentioned, Anthony, of gaining oversight of Agile activities across the enterprise. The SAFe board shows the progress of all features that are in any Agile release train in various states in the SAFe framework. You can easily drag and drop an item from one state to another, and anyone who's been added to the board can see the status, providing real-time visibility.
So I love this interface and how it gives the users the oversight that they need, who's working on what, and they can collaborate there. But how about optimizing the prioritization of all these features?
So let's click on one of the tabs called Program Increment Planning. On the far right is the weighted shortest job first, otherwise known as WSJF, which can be used to prioritize and sequence events. I can see that there's a backlog item here that's weighted higher than one of the items in the program increment. So I'm going to drag that item up and move the lower ranked item at the bottom. With WSJF, you can see how easy it is to make prioritization decisions.
That's awesome. I love this intuitive, consumer-like experience that really allows that prioritization that we talked about. But how about helping customers schedule the right work to the right teams?
So let's click on that last tab, which is called Big Room Planning. On the left, we can see various teams, and across the top, we can see various sprints. I see a safe story assigned to the incorrect team and the incorrect sprint. So I'm going to drag and drop that item in the incorrect area and move it up to the correct team and the correct sprint. We can see that there's a dependency line that affects that particular team and that particular sprint. With Big Room Planning, all of our work is in one interface. We can now assign the correct sprint to the correct team and ensure that all of our work is being done.
So that's the essential Scaled Agile framework in our London release. So to recap, we were able to gain oversight of Agile activities with the SAFe board. We can prioritize features from a single backlog with weighted shortest job first. And we can schedule the right work to the right teams with the Big Room Planning board. So thank you, Lily, and thank you for watching.
All right, so that covers the better experiences for our IT products. Now, if you were at Knowledge 18, you probably heard about something called Agent Workspace. We introduced it under limited access, and I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what that means, Dave. Talk about limited access and Agent Workspace.
Okay, so limited access is, again, around improving customer experience. What we wanted to do is just be able to take a limited group of customers, say 20 customers per feature, and be able to give them a copy of production-ready, fully supported code to allow them to actually use it in production, and then give us feedback on what the actual experience is like using it, which means we can tailor it, we can start to put things in place based on what usability requirements are for when it becomes generally available. Now, the cool thing, I suppose, about the whole concept of agent workspace is that it's all around making work flow around you. So it's about having this centralized space where everything you need is around the actual area that you're working in. You think you'll see people using screens where there's multiple windows open, or even worst case, multiple screens open. This is about just having the things that you need to work on in front of you, the ability to prioritize them, to have multiple things open on the same window, and to start bringing in things like Agent Assist, where as you're actually making alterations to a record, you're getting the system making recommendations to you that's going to make it quicker for you actually to resolve an issue.
So what I really like about Agent Workspace is the fact that it's personalized. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the whole point of it is to be able to configure your workspace to be exactly the way you want it to be so that you optimize your productivity throughout the day.
You know, it's great. We're taking these better experiences and we're going to extend them to the emerging businesses, which it's kind of funny to call them emerging still. They're really not emerging anymore, right?
I mean, you think how long they've been around. You know, you've had human resources since the Dublin release, then in Geneva release, we got security, we got customer service. Now, what it means we can do, though, is we can take everything we've learned in previous products and roll those into the new products to give people a much better service experience.
So what we're going to show you now are some demos on how we've extended these better experiences. You'll see how in customer service we're tackling major issues better than ever before. And then in HR, you'll see how folks can manage employee documents from hire to retire. And then finally, you'll see a new UI for the security incident response team. How about this security business, though?
So security for us is a big investment because we entered a crowded market with a relatively new product and immediately took a leadership position in that. Now that's something that's really difficult to do and we want to capitalize on it, so that's why we're investing in the security product sets.
Awesome. All right, let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Holly Simmons, and with me today is Kathy Neff, and we're very excited to be able to share with you one of the latest innovations in the London release, Major Issue Management. In working with our customers, one of the top challenges they face is being able to manage a critical issue across a large number of customers. And there are 3 reasons for that. First, they don't have visibility into which customers are affected, and they also don't know how far-reaching the issue is. Second, they're unable to manage issues affecting multiple customers successfully because they can't match the customers and the cases altogether. And then third, communications are frequently manual and inconsistent, and this happens when you're communicating with hundreds or even thousands of customers. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Kathy for a demo.
Great, so let's take a look. And we're going to start here on a dashboard that would be used by a contact center manager. Acme Analytics is the company, and they have an analytics product, and they are seeing a performance issue with the analytics software crop up one morning. And you can clearly see this by the trend line that shows a spike in cases being submitted. So the problem Holly talked about of lots of individual cases, it's very hard to manage. So now with major issue management, one of these cases can be proposed as a major case. And once we've done that, let's take a look now at the major case. All right, so the major case here shows you the original case, and it's linked as a child case. So let's talk about the first problem of visibility into customer impact. That's solved right here through affected customers, and it points to a recipients list. The recipients list allows you to build a list of customers that all meet a particular criteria. In this case, it's customers who own the Analytics Suite software. Once we've built that list, we can then connect it into the major case. And by creating child cases, we know who everybody is now that's impacted. We can send a proactive notification out to everyone and create a case for them. So we're not just being reactive any longer. And we can see that we now have a set of 9 cases. It could be hundreds or even thousands in a real scenario. So that solves the first problem of visibility into customer impact. We understand the global impact now. The second issue is just managing this as a single case. And again, the major case allows us to do that directly from here. So we see, for instance, a priority could be changed. All the child cases would be updated simultaneously. And the third challenge is just communication. It's manual and inconsistent. Now, the major case allows us to communicate from here, so any updates to the case or a final resolution can be posted on the major case and cascaded down to all the child cases. When we save that, everybody's updated. So it's a great productivity boon, and in a nutshell, Holly, that's major issue management.
Great, thanks for the awesome demo, Kathy.
Sure.
So to recap, major issue management helps you with 3 things. First, it helps customer service teams to identify impacted customers and to proactively create cases for them. Second, it helps teams manage and resolve the issues through the major case. And then third, it improves efficiency by centralizing the communications. And that's major issue management, helping you tackle critical customer issues before they tackle you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Villamick, Head of Product Marketing for the HR product line, and I'm joined today by Samantha Barth, our Technical Product Marketing Manager. We're here to show you a new set of capabilities in the London release for the HR Service Delivery product that's going to allow HR teams to electronically manage employee documents. These are documents like college transcripts, certificates, or disciplinary notices. HR has long struggled to manage these documents in a secure, compliant, and efficient manner. It's also been a challenge to provide employees access to these documents when needed. Samantha, let's show how we're solving these problems using employee document management.
Organizations spend significant time managing employee documents. We're going to show you an easier way. I'm logged in as Harry, the HR admin. We'll look at the list of document types, and today I'm going to use the disciplinary notices and documents file type to illustrate some of the key capabilities. Features I'll highlight for you include security policies, legal hold, and retention policies. Let's start by looking at the security policy for this document file type. You'll notice that we can set read or write access for employee user groups. In this case, Harry wishes to add read access to the HR Core Case Writer user group type. You'll also notice that we can set whether or not an employee can access files of this type. We'll see that in a minute on the Employee Service Center. Let's first look at how retention policies work. In this case, we've segmented retention policies by geography. So all documents of this file type that are not held in the US will actually be purged 1 year from document creation date. In all other cases, they're kept indefinitely. This reminds Harry he'd like to actually adjust the security policy to ensure that before documents are purged, we notify members of the HR investigations team. Additionally, we can also set a legal hold. Notice the legal hold buttons, which can be set on either the document file type or the individual user. This prevents documents from being purged during ongoing legal activity or investigations. Finally, I'll log out as Harry the admin and log back into the Employee Service Center as Emily. We can see the Documents widget on Emily's HR profile, where she can easily preview or download files as she needs to. With ServiceNow's employee document management, HR professionals enjoy the ease of managing employee documents, and employees will appreciate how easy it is to access their files.
Thanks, Samantha. So to recap, our customers can now manage employee documents from hire to retire. And as we saw in the demo, this increases efficiency and also supports security and compliance. It also makes it easy for employees to access these documents based on document properties and user profile information. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Piero DePaoli, and this is Janine Casella, and we're from the Security and Risk Product Marketing team. We have some really great stuff coming in both security operations and in governance, risk, and compliance in the London release. But we really want to take the time to walk you through one key new feature that's coming in security operations, and this is all about the user experience. Now, we've seen organizations have three big challenges when using ServiceNow for managing the incident response process. First, there's sometimes multiple tabs and scrolling to find the relevant information to do the work. Second is that it can be difficult to understand where you are in the overall end-to-end part of the process. And lastly, it can take too long to move between some of the different response phases. So Janine, why don't we show them what it looks like?
I'm going to use a phishing use case to demonstrate the new Security Incident Response UI and show you how you can quickly investigate a threat, guide analysts with the security playbook, and quickly switch from investigation to containment to resolve an incident faster. So we start on the security landing page where I have 4 incidents assigned to me, and they're ranked by risk score. So we're going to look at the highest risk item, and here is the security incident detail page. This shows me who and what are affected, similar security incidents, and related items like observables. I can also see the actual email that was forwarded for this potential phishing investigation. So we have the new phishing playbook on the right-hand side here, and it's going to guide me through each step I need to do to eradicate a threat. The first thing it asks is if the employee submitted the email properly. Well, we just looked at it, so I'm going to say yes and submit. And as soon as I hit submit, the next task pops up. So the next task asks if the email is actually phishing. And it actually shows me what I need to do to complete this task. So I'm going to go to observables, and here I can see that security operations has sent these observables to third-party threat intelligence sources and has determined that these are indeed malicious. So now I can say, yes, the email is phishing. And now we're going to jump ahead a little bit to contain this threat. So what we need to do is make sure there are no other copies of this email on our Exchange server. So I'm going to start the task, go to email search, and run a search and delete. So we're going to search our Exchange server, find those 32 emails, and delete all of them. Now I can mark the task completed, and we can close out this security incident.
Thanks, Janine. So there you have it. We were able to solve those 3 big challenges. By first, everything was on one screen. You saw rapidly the ability to go investigate a threat. Secondly, there's easy access to playbooks. Right on the right-hand side, you saw exactly where you were in the process. And lastly, faster time to value. You're able to get more out of the product more quickly. So that's it. This is your new Security Incident Response Command Center. Thanks for watching.
So I'm really excited about this next piece because it's a little unusual. It's a little different than what we usually do. We're going to talk about how you can accelerate your upgrade to London. So Dave, let's talk about how it shouldn't be that hard to upgrade, right? What are your thoughts on how folks can accelerate their upgrades?
So I think the first thing to consider is the fact that we've shown all these new features and everyone's always into what's in the latest release. But people need to be into the concept of actually upgrading to the latest release. Now, you heard John acknowledge this year say that people should be upgrading at least once a year. But what we've tried to do is make investments in multiple teams to make that easier for people. So CJ's team on the development side have built their automated test framework to allow people to build test cases to check that the upgrade's going to go smoothly. And then when you look at the customer success team, they've built best practices that show people how to go through a seamless upgrade process. So for us, it's a big investment. We've got a lot of different areas in the company focused on it, and we're serious about making it work.
It's awesome, you know, and you can really unlock a ton of great things the sooner you upgrade.
Right, absolutely.
And it really shouldn't be that hard. So let's hear from the team and see what they have as far as advice on accelerating your upgrade.
The ServiceNow London release is bringing some exciting new capabilities. But when the rubber hits the road and it's time to do your upgrade, it can be challenging. You're unclear about what steps to take. You're wondering how long it's going to be, especially with testing. And if you've done significant customizations, you're wondering about how those might affect your upgrade. Well, the good news is that ServiceNow has invested in resources to not only accelerate your upgrade, but to make it easier. I'm Frank Lynn, and with me today is Chuck Tomasi, owner of the Upgrade Best Practices, to talk about those. And later, we'll bring in Paul Vorn from Professional Services to talk about our automated testing framework and HealthScan. Chuck, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Frank. Great to be here.
So, Chuck, what are our upgrade best practices?
This is an easy one. We've got it all documented on the website. At a high level, it's in 5 stages. Stage 1 is all about the IT project management practices. Whatever you're doing today for resources, timing, schedule, budget, keep doing it. This is just another IT project. That will guarantee you a higher degree of success. Stage 2 is all about following the documented process that we've got. The procedure for upgrades has been done over and over again. You've got instructions to follow. In stage 3, we go into reviewing the skipped changes. We want to make sure that you recognize what we're not upgrading. Stage 4 is all about testing, creating and maintaining those test plans. And Paul's going to talk about this a little more in depth in just a bit. Stage 5 is looking towards the future. What can you do today to make your upgrades easier tomorrow? And the thing I love about this document is that it's not just content that ServiceNow put out there. We've actually worked with customers to interview them and find out what works. These are people who have submitted speaker papers to Knowledge 18 about upgrades. So I reached out to them and said, what's working? Where are your troubles? What what recommendations, what expert tips do you have? And that's all included in this information.
That's great, Chuck. So a lot of our customers are worried about customizations. So what are the ServiceNow best practices around customizations?
Yeah, sure. When it comes to the out-of-box applications like HR, customer service management, ITSM, the easiest thing is to do nothing. It may sound simple, but if you do no changes, your upgrades are pretty much frictionless. However, customers have requirements, and you need to add a field here, a little business logic there. Use the built-in designers and forms that we provide. It makes it very easy to do those configuration changes. When you do have more complex requirements that require some scripting, we recommend that you observe the technical best practices that are documented on our developer site. Those are all very well put there for you. And try to avoid customizing the scripts that ServiceNow gives you. That's what carries the highest element of risk when it comes to upgrades. We do have some customers that have a policy of no customizations. They actually have very high limits on documentation and approval, and that's usually enough to scare most people away.
Well, Chuck, that all makes sense to me. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Paul, thank you for joining me today.
Great to be here, Frank.
So Chuck mentioned testing as a best practice. So how does the automated testing framework fit into that?
Great question. Before I answer that, I'm going to talk a little bit about a product lab research we did with about upgrades. 300 or more customers responded, and they told us that testing and verification in its various forms was the #1 barrier to them upgrading. And for many of them, it's over 50% of the total time for the upgrade is spent on that testing. And that gets especially bad when it's your end users or your business stakeholders that are doing that regression testing. You really want to get those people out of the process. So what ATF does is it allows you to basically imitate those end users and encapsulate all those tests, saving a ton of time and allowing you to do regression testing more often. So great example for related directly to upgrades, and that's where the real power comes in. Australian customer actually blogged about this. And I spoke to them, they had taken 6 weeks for their previous upgrade. They decided they were going to jump on Kingston as quickly as possible, and they took their 200 tests out of Excel, coded them in ATF. It took them 1 week to take the 200 tests into ATF, and they got about 90% coverage. They then it took them just 1 week once Kingston came out to do the upgrade. So it took them it took five weeks out of the process.
Wow, that is quite a time savings. And these are already in the platform, and it's something the developers already know how to use, right?
Yes, exactly. And as you heard, it's pretty simple, but to make it even easier in London, and I'll show you just really quickly, we have sample tests, quick start sample tests coming in to the product, and you'll see more of these coming out. This is for CSM. All the other products will start to have them as the releases go on. And you can see these are very, very standard tests, and I can simply run it, and I'm cheating a little bit here because it takes a few minutes, but not a few weeks. You can run it, and my engineer actually put an Easter egg in there, so it failed. But just to give you an idea, I can go to the results. I can see the test that failed, and it can even show me the screenshot of where it failed, but it gives me a very quick description of what happened. So now I can call the developer and tell them, here's the problem. But I don't have to rely on end users to do the testing, and I don't have to be a developer to get this far.
Wow, this is great. So now, Chuck mentioned that customization, the best practice around that is to try to avoid them if you can. But what if I have already done them? Is there a path forward for me?
Yes, there is a path forward. And we've been working with customers, or we see customers, typically larger customers, that have been with the platform for over 5 years, done lots of customizations, and they start to see some of those upgrade and performance issues. And remember, a lot of those customizations they did was because we didn't have a product that did exactly what they wanted to do, or what they wanted to do wasn't configurable. So now in later releases like Kingston, London, those are actually in the product off the shelf. So in some cases, their processes are yielding what they want in terms of efficiency, but they're using old technology. So you do a technology reset. In some cases, you will want to do a process reset and start again with your processes and pick up our processes out of the box and adopt those.
And in some cases, you might need to do both.
In some cases, you might need to do both. And the good news is there is an assessment we have now. Our professional services team has an assessment that allows you to see where you are in terms of those processes and technology.
And doesn't that assessment use HealthScan?
It does, yes. And let me show you HealthScan. So HealthScan is built upon hundreds of best practices that the product line experts and the professional services guys that have done thousands of deployments have done, and they know that they have a proven impact on upgradability. So it gives you scores related to how aligned you are to those best practices. And you can even see, and obviously you can drill down into this and get lots more information, but you can even see the areas of the product that might need some help. And you can even see over time how you're doing, because the idea is that you're building a roadmap to ongoing improvement.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
So if you're worried about upgrades, we've got some resources for you. Go to the URL below, and you can get our Upgrade Best Practices guide. If you're worried about testing, we have the automated testing framework to help you. And finally, if you've done a lot of configurations or customizations, contact professional services. They can help.
That about wraps it up for the keynote. I'd like to thank my guest Dave for joining me. And today started with intelligence for everyday work, and that was through the virtual agent. And then you saw how we created better experiences across all our products. And finally, we showed you how to accelerate your upgrade to London. Remember to upgrade to London through High. Also, ask your sales account manager or partner about anything you've seen here today. And don't forget the 7 spotlight sessions coming up next with live chat Q&A. With that, thanks for watching.
A live Q&A for the APJ region. Please send in questions and we'll try to answer as many as possible. For those questions which are not answered, we'll reply via chat or email. We will not be broadcasting the spotlight sessions mentioned in the APJ region. However, we will be sending the link to watch the on-demand recording of this webinar. And with that, I'll hand things over to our presenters to respond to some of the questions.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie, and I'm the outbound product manager for the APJ region. We've received many of your questions today. Thank you very much for that. One of the questions that I would like to highlight is around the agent workspace. As this was mentioned into the webinar, the agent workspace is in limited availability for the London release and will become general availability in Madrid. So for the London release, only selected customers have been engaged with the product management team to help us develop and validate the product. And so for general availability, we will need to wait for the Madrid release, which is planned for Q1 of 2019. Another question that was asked was around direct integration with SharePoint for the document management. For this one, we do not have a connector with SharePoint available in the London release. However, we do have connectors for box integration. So if that would be a solution, it's something that can be done. If you want it in SharePoint, it would be something that would need to be built by yourself. Daryl, do you want to answer some question around the virtual agents?
Yeah, thanks, Natalie. So, yeah, my name's Darryl Crossley. I'm a senior solution consultant for ServiceNow based out of Sydney. A couple of questions that came in. I thought, well, there's a lot of people asking similar questions around the virtual agent. I do genuinely encourage people to jump in and actually get this fired up in a developer instance. You know, how can you actually test this? How can you actually look at some of those conversations as well and build your own? I mean, we actually provide, as mentioned, 18 out-of-the-box conversations, but you can actually use these as templates to actually go on and obviously build your own. So please, I do encourage you to fire this up on your developer instance. There is a link in terms of how to actually implement the virtual agent via the doc site as well, so please use that as reference. The other one that I wanted to pick up also, we had a couple from Emily as well. So Emily Yang, the other question regarding virtual agent on a mobile device. So if you're actually in the mobile app, it's not something I've actually tested, so I can definitely come back to you if that was the meaning. But my assumption is via the service portal on a mobile device, in which case, yes, 100% that works. So virtual agent on a mobile device via the portal on a mobile device via the web interface. Have you picked up any more, Natalie, in the last couple of minutes? I can see there's probably, wow, we could be here all day. There's probably about 50, 60 questions coming so far. Let me see if I can get to something.
So there's a question here, whether it's available with Slack for the virtual agent. Yes, we do now in London have integration with Slack as well as Microsoft Teams.
Yep. Quick question regarding. Oh, sorry. Go on, Natalie. No, there was a question regarding. You go first. Ladies first.
Okay, there was one around the walk-up experience, many questions around the pricing for that. So walk-up experience can be used across, it's a platform element, can be used across various product lines, IT, HR, etc. It comes free of charge in the London release.
We've got a question regarding, will we go deeper into these topics at Now Forum? Yes, 100%. Please come to Now Forum. Please learn more about, obviously, all of the London features and more about the broader platform.
We have a few questions around the CSM major incident management. Yes, our major issue management. Yes, it's exactly the same process as you would use for your major IT incident. Just think of it that your users and the people you need to keep informed is your external customer. Typical use case is a product recall. So if, for instance, a car manufacturer wants to recall all their fleet for the airbag failure, for instance, that would be the major incident management, the major issue management that's available in CSM to be able to contact and communicate with all the users of that particular product. So the process is basically CSM has adopted the ITIL IT major incident management process into the CSM workspace.
Yeah, I'm just going through here. There is a few coming in now regarding, some of them are a little bit more specific around things that are, I suppose, outside of the London release. I got one regarding Slackbot integration. Obviously, we are extending our integrations via Integration Hub. Obviously, we'll see more and more of these capabilities brought into subsequent releases, but that's obviously something to probably dive a little bit deeper on in terms of the Slack bot specifically. If you just mean general Slack integration, then yeah, we obviously have that today. But Slack bot specifically, that's Rashmi. I'd probably need to know a little bit more about what your intentions are on that one.
So there's a very good question here from Ravendra on the how fast I can upgrade to London. London is general availability. We do have a number of best practices that are available as to how to plan for your upgrade. So we do recommend that you manage your upgrades as a project. So these are available into our communities or as well as on our high technical support website. And you can update as well as you can put in your request to do your upgrade as of today. It's available, general availability for all our customers.
I'm looking for something else that is simple to answer and is relevant to, I suppose, the majority of the audience. The Slack integration requires orchestration, so it does require integration hub. So probably want to chat to you, Bernie, regarding sort of licensing and how that comes together with an account manager, just to sort of like go through the T's and C's on licensing, unless you know it off the top of your head, Natalie, and if it's relevant.
On top of my head, I have no. I don't have that one. Sorry.
Okay.
There's a question. I was actually looking at my other question. So we've got a number of questions regarding the ATF, which is the automated test framework to help with the upgrade. Yes, there are some sample tests for ITSM that you can run. Obviously, any customizations that you've made onto your platform, you would have to write your particular test script for that, and then as part of your upgrade. Now, the good thing about the ATF is once you've defined your actual test script, you can reuse it for future upgrades. So, for instance, if you keep that customization for the Madrid upgrade at the end of Q1, you can reuse the same ATF test to run it onto your Madrid upgrade. And it does come with a number of tests for your ITSM.
So there still seems to be a lot of questions coming in regarding agent workspace. So this is limited availability. So I think there are sub 50 customers globally that have this, and these have been selected based on. Is it actually 20? These have been selected on their ability to obviously provide feedback on that development, on that new, obviously, feature. So we will only be opening it up to the general availability in subsequent releases.
So if you want to be, so there's a question from Faisal here, what's the criteria to get agent workspace? Again, globally, the agent workspace customer program is limited to 20, and it's already quite full. If you want to be put on a wait list, work with your account exec, and then we'll see if it's possible to put you onto the wait list. Now, I can tell you we have a very, very healthy wait list, but it's also worth it if you want to be put in. You would need to work with your account manager to do the first assessment.
So there are some questions coming in regarding virtual agent and integration into third-party tools such as Slack, Microsoft Teams, and the like as well. Obviously, that is not something that is there today. I think there was an announcement recently by Slack. I'll see if I can dig it out and share it with the broader community as part of this about where we can start to use things like virtual agent as part of those Slack conversations. But let me see if I can supply that as part of the all of the links that we send out post this webinar.
There's another question here on can custom ServiceNow instance URL be set up in London? Yes, finally we can do it. It's part of our platform feature, and it's one of the new feature from the platform team. So yes, custom URL, or what we call often vanity URL, are now available for customers to use.
So there was Anthony asked a question regarding the walk-up experience. So does this require a kiosk-type setup where the user goes to a device and checks in? Yes and no, but not necessarily. So we see it working quite well where there is a device, be it an iPad or some sort of tablet where a user can use that type of functionality to check in, and that was actually shown during the presentation as well. But alternatively, you can use the service portal to also use the walk-up experience and check in that way too. We actually showed two modes of that. And then obviously the third view is almost the wallboard view of the world, where one of your internal users can actually understand where they are in the queue.
There's a question here from Michelle regarding which version will the agent workspace be available in. So that's going to be in Madrid, and that's in Q1 of 2019.
So there's a question regarding London pre-sales material. My assumption there is, a presentation on, all of the features that are available. If you want access to understand a little bit more about everything really, really quickly, obviously the ServiceNow.com website. From a more technical, if you're of a more technical persuasion, then the doc site as well has a good overview of all of the capabilities that have been launched in London. Obviously, if you want a more, I suppose, tailored experience, please work with your local account team to request an update on what is new and where that would be applicable to your business as well. Okay, so I think I'm just looking at the time, we're close to the top of the hour. We still have dozens and dozens of questions that I feel as though are a little bit more relevant to the individual versus everyone on the call. So we'll probably start to answer those back via email after this session. And I suppose from my perspective, it's been great to have you all on the call. There's been a lot of attendees and lots of interest and lots of questions. That's been really, 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 really useful for us. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for attending.